We're born in the moonlight. Ain't no fair to say. Can't bring the sunlight.
Hello beautifuls, this is Aromie here and welcome back to Changeling. We are here reading a Shakespeare book with Mark, and I feel like he doesn't like physical contact much. He seems skittish about it. So this is where Bottom and the others are rehearsing, right? Mark nodded, but said nothing else. A man of few words, I see. For the next 45 minutes, we took turns reading. He stumbled over the lines, frowning intensely at the playbook the entire time. He said he'd be looking forward to my expert opinions, but he didn't exactly give a chance for me to share them. He wasn't really unfriendly, but he was definitely keeping his distance. Literally. From the moment I touched his arm, he did his best to stay well out of my personal space. Or keep me out of his, maybe. Awkwardly so, actually. It was to the point of him noticeably leaning away from me while we read. So sorry I offended you, Your Highness. I take back what I thought about your heavenly cologne. So there. The bell eventually rang, eliciting a sigh of relief from both of us. Mark immediately stood and slid his books into a leather satchel. He nodded stiffly and headed out for the class. He seems cute, though. I watched him go, curious about what his deal was. He was standoffish and acted like I'd nearly burned his flesh off just by brushing him. Or his arm. Mysterious. Was he shy? Did he just not like commoners like myself? Maybe I smell weird to him? I resisted the urge to sniff my sleeve just to be sure. Well, whatever, it's just one guy in one class. He could be as unsociable as he wanted. I checked my class schedule and grown as I realized trigonometry was next. I'd have to ask Allie about Mark later. Knowing her, she'd probably have tons of juicy details to share. I was pretty sure trigonometry was in the same place as literature, but it had been several years since I was last here. I'd never actually come to the high school wing. I was entirely sure where it was going. Why is it so crowded? I was jostled across the hall by the crowd, trying to aim for a nearby empty spot by an open door. I reached it at the same time as a pale-haired girl in a blue coat. We nearly ran into each other, but she caught me by the shoulders, preventing an embarrassing collision. Oh, that's not a girl! Main character? Careful. Wait, that voice, that's a guy? I stared up at him. I remember him too. Somewhat in awe. He was so pretty. How could a guy be that pretty? He smiled down at me. Are you okay? I didn't mean to nearly crash into you. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'm okay. I quickly straightened and tried to get my bearings. I don't remember being this... Watch it! Someone nearly sheared my nose off with his backpack. I don't think they even heard me shout. Is it always this crowded between classes? Jeez. Ugh. Hey, can I ask where? Wish me luck. Before I could finish, the boy bounded away from the wall, and oh no! I squeezed my eyes shut as he nearly bowed over two brunettes twice his size. I expected him to bounce off and go sprawling, but he somehow managed to dodge and pull over someone smaller than him instead. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Are you okay? I watched him fuss over the girl for a few seconds before hurrying off down the hall, squeezing his way through the crowd. He seemed pretty popular. Everyone waved and called to him as he bounced through. It didn't take long to learn his name was Corvin. If only because people kept shouting as they said hello. That's an unusual name. As I got ready to brave the tide of students myself, I noticed the book had fallen in the middle of the hallway, right where Corvin had run into that girl. Oh shoot, did he drop that? No one else appeared to have noticed it there. I hesitated for a moment. I didn't want to just leave it, but I was really doubtful of my ability to get across the hall and pick something up off the floor without getting steamrolled by the crowd. And I was going to be late if I waited until the hall cleared to get it. Still, it was going to get damaged if I just left it in the middle of the floor. I should probably either return it to Corvin or get it to the office. I guess we're gonna just dive in. Dive in! Someone clipped the edge of the book with their foot as they walked past, sending it sliding across the tile toward the end of the lockers. I couldn't watch anymore. At this rate, it would be ruined. I shifted my backpack slightly and practically threw myself into the crowd. If Pretty Boy could do it, so could I. Probably. It wasn't quite as easy as he made it seem. Probably because he was at least 6 inches taller than me. Not that I was short or anything, it was just really crowded. I jostled my way through the hurried students, near losing an eye to a wayward backpack at least once. When I was finally near the other side of the hall, I made a sort of dive around the corner for the book. A head of white blonde hair came into my field of view a few seconds too late. That sound scared me. I was able to halt my momentum before our skulls cracked against each other. Oof! I crouched on the floor, seeing stars as I clutched my head. Pretty Boy was back, and his head must have been made of titanium. Jeez, what happened to his glasses? Maybe I need to start wearing a helmet. How? Oh my god, are you okay? Are you okay? I didn't see you. Wow, he was 2 for 2 when it came to running into me at this point. If he kept this up, I was going to have to start considering the possibility that either he and I were soulmates, or I had somehow become magnetized in the last 10 minutes. I blinked rapidly, waiting for my vision to come back fully before I answered. A pair of large hands closed on my shoulders and started shaking me. Are you alright? Can you see me? Do I need to take you to the office? Ugh, please stop shaking me. Sorry, you just weren't answering, so I was worried. I rubbed my forehead and peered at the blonde boy with one eye. We stared at each other for a long time. He had really had the most amazing green eyes. Shoot, I dropped my glasses! And he suddenly started to look around wildly for the glasses that were right by his knee. I picked them up and handed them over. He shoved them onto his face and looked at me again, smiling this time. I think you dropped a book earlier. I was trying to get it so I could return it to you. Oh yeah, I just came back for it and... He blinked suddenly, giving me another long look. When did you see me drop it? Earlier when you ran into that girl. Right. It was kind of crowded though. You must have a good eye. While I was watching since we'd nearly run into each other and you sort of Geronimo'd out into the crowd after that. Oh yeah, we nearly ran into each other over there too. I guess our meeting was meant to be. Thanks for trying to save my book. That was sweet. He shoved it into his backpack before standing offering me his hand. I took it and pulled myself to my feet, if only because I was still a bit dizzy from that epic headbutt. Thanks. He didn't immediately let go of my hand, but instead pulled me slightly closer, peering very seriously into my eyes. Whoa. I felt my face heating up again under his scrutiny. What's your name? I'm Michiko. I tried to pull my hand away and he instantly released it, smiling slightly. Slightly? Yeah. He reached up and gently brushed my hair away from my cheek. Are you touching me? Why are you so easily? How are these guys easily just like touching my forehead, taking my hair away from my face or some crap? He chuckled softly. Well, I'm glad to have met you, Michiko. Before he could say much else, he was called away by another boy and darted off, leaving me staring after him. Whoa, what was that? Holding hands with someone on the first day, I'm impressed. I shook myself out of that daze and glared at Allie. We weren't holding hands, he was helping me stand. Right. Oh, what happened to your head? Oh, that guy, I think his name's Corvin. He and I sort of ran into each other. Nice, yeah, if you're going to find a crazy way to introduce yourself to a guy, going with something classic works. Yeah, I did not bash my head into his to meet him. Right, but he's pretty cute, yeah? I rolled my eyes. Whatever, can you show me where Trig is before we're both playing? Ugh, you still suck with directions. Come on. I'm bad with directions on the daily. It will never change, I don't think. My next classes were fairly boring, at least when it came to academic content. When it came to social interaction, though, it was definitely a different story. First of all, Corbin was in trigonometry. He didn't even notice me at all, though. Not that I was surprised. I had definitely been right about him being popular. He was surrounded by others before class started. The crowd around Danny in literature was nothing compared to the amount of people vying for Corbin's attention. It was a little weird, actually. On top of that, he was a complete and total klutz. He dropped his pencil a dozen times, shoved over his own feet, and at one point somehow landed on another student's desk, face first. At most schools, he probably would have been a laughingstock, but not so much here. In fact, the other students sort of fawned over him every time he hurt himself. 3 different people offered to escort him to the nurse for an ice pack after he fell. He was kind of an airhead, but I guess he must have been really nice to have that many friends and admirers. It was probably cynical to think it might just be the way he hermorged compliments. Corbin's antics aside, Spencer was in both trig and chemistry. I couldn't help but wonder how having 2 classes with me must have impacted how good a day he was having. And if watching him alternate between glaring and pretending I didn't exist wasn't bad enough. Kara was also in chemistry with us. Gosh darn it. The moment she saw me and gave me a little smug grin, I knew something was up, so I was a little apprehensive going into class. It was sad. It was sad we hadn't managed to patch things up, but I was ultimately okay with her not liking me. I wasn't okay with her trying to pick fights and cause problems just for the sake of doing it, though. And it didn't take long to work out what she was up to. I hadn't even gotten to my desk when 2 people who introduced themselves as Luke and Emery practically set up camp nearby to pepper me with questions about the whole childhood disappearing act. I didn't remember either of them, so I didn't think they were students who were at school when it happened. And yet, they definitely gotten a pretty detailed version of what had happened from somewhere. Damn it, Kara. They're cute. So do you really not remember what happened to you while you were missing? I heard you were attacked by a bear or something. Someone said you were the only witness of a murderer out there, but none of the other victims were ever found. Do you think you blocked it all out because of the trauma? Is it true the police questioned you guys because they thought you tried to kill each other? I shot Spencer a quick look at that one. Is that how you got injured or whatever? Spencer was gritting his teeth, glaring at me. Ugh, no good. I could practically see the red flashing light above his head, declaring a level 7 nuclear event was imminent. Is there any way we could just not talk about this? Come on, we're just curious. I don't have answers. I don't remember. I had amnesia? Did you not get that part of the story? I sighed, trying to figure out a diplomatic way to tell him to shut the heck up before my brother had a meltdown. It was a really long time ago. We just got back into town and are trying to settle in. There isn't much to tell anyway, but I think I would rather not talk about it all the same. Everyone, please take your seats. At the teacher's words, everyone reluctantly retreated, leaving Spencer and me alone. I was trying to look anywhere but at him. Honestly, I hadn't expected anyone to bring the stuff up again. My gaze fell on Kara, who was still giving me that same smile. Of course, if someone was intentionally trying to bring it up all again, then it was no wonder people were interested. I sighed, trying to stir rumors up using that, of all things, so literally the most pointless endeavor. But it's Kara, so... Unfortunately, by the time class released, everyone seemed more interested in getting to the cafeteria before the lines got too long. Or maybe the average student's attention span was long enough to remember that Spencer and I had an interesting backstory. Regardless, the class emptied quickly, which left me to find my way to the cafeteria alone. Unfortunately, it didn't take me long. I just had to follow the smell of old hot dogs and sweaty feet. Allie was nowhere in sight, so I just grabbed a sandwich and found an empty spot to eat alone. Dang! I barely sat down when someone else plunked a tray of food directly across from me. It's William! I looked up hoping to see Allie, but instead saw the messy-haired boy from literature. Oh wait, what was his name again? Sorry, this is where I usually sit. They don't like it if I sit somewhere else. They? You mean your friends? Are they coming too? Should I move? Oh, he's so cute. He looked down at me with gentle brown eyes and a serious expression. No one else is coming. And who are they you were referring to? I didn't ask that though, and he just sat down quietly and started eating without looking at me. I studied him surreptitiously while trying to eat. He was a little disheveled and gloomy. He definitely seemed shy, or maybe just socially awkward. I wasn't sure which. He definitely wasn't much for talking though. A heavy silence descended on us. You're William, right? I feel like I don't want to be fangirling over the wrong name. I lamented silently about how much I hated awkward silences. So, I'm Ichiko. We had one class together, so it couldn't hurt to at least properly introduce myself, right? Okay, it is William. I just now remember there's another guy that we also know, so that makes what, like 6 guys, I think? William's, wait, there's Elliot, Danny, Mark, Corvin, and William. And there's another guy that we haven't met yet, so maybe there is 6 guys. We're for sure gonna go for William first. When he looked up, I was startled by the sad look on his face. It's good that you didn't sit by me in class. You shouldn't sit here tomorrow either. Well, what the heck? Who says that kind of thing? Why would he even say something like that out of nowhere? I couldn't help but wonder if it was because of Kara stirring things up. Who knew what else she had been saying to people? How do I even respond to that? I just looked away, biting my lip to stop myself from saying something unnecessarily angry. I guess I won't. I sat silently for a few minutes before I stood abruptly and grabbed the tray with my sandwich. I wasn't sure why people were so intent on being jerks to me on my first day, but I wasn't really in the mood to put up with it anymore. But if I stayed, saying something unnecessarily angry was inevitable. I'm done. Bye. William jumped to his feet. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it in that way. With a sudden jolt, my lunch tray flipped out of my hands. Bread and sandwich guts were... Whoa, what the hell? Flying everywhere as its cart wheeled through the air before slamming to the floor and skidding about 10 feet. I stared after it in shock. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I'm sorry, you should stay away from me. He picked up his things and fled the room, leaving me standing there gaping at the mess on the floor. He hadn't hit the tray, and I definitely hadn't thrown it. What just happened? The entire cafeteria was dead quiet. I could practically feel their eyes on me. Even Spencer was staring from across the room. Our eyes met, and it's not like I was expecting him to ask if I was okay or anything, but he just calmly went back to eating as if he didn't know me. I left the mess on the floor and ran out of the cafeteria, already so over the day. Nothing was going the way I thought it would. I was legit gonna cry if they continued on this sad, depressing stuff. I was gonna cry. The rest of my day was uneventful. I only had to talk about my incidents in, well, every single class, and it was the same battery of questions every time. Did I really lose my memory? What did I really see in the woods? Why did Spencer get questioned by the police? Did he really get attacked by an animal, or was it me? Did I see a murderer? Was I abducted by the aliens? I still couldn't believe someone actually asked me the last one. In a non-ironic way, I made a mental note to stay far, far away from that kid. I couldn't avoid talking about it every time. Some students were relentless. Eventually, I just settled into the same route answers. Route? Yes, I really lost my memories. No, I don't know what I saw, but I was pretty sure it wasn't a murder. The police were trying to cover all their bases, but since Spencer had nothing to do with it, he really was attacked by something, but it wasn't me. And as far as I was aware, no aliens were involved. Most people opt to leave me alone when they realized they weren't going to get any juicy details out of me. So otherwise, there were no major problems. At any rate, no one else decided to be blatantly rude to me. What I really wanted to do was grab Allie and talk to her about what happened at lunch, but I didn't get a chance. I mean, she knew that guy better than I did. At the very least, she could tell me if it was just me or if they treated everyone that way. But we didn't have any afternoon classes together, and I hadn't seen her in the hall either. It was a little lonely, to be honest, especially since the day was such a mixed bag. I knew I'd settle in. And I gotta end this, because... Oh, don't overwrite it. Because I'm overtime again. This game is just too amazing. But I believe we have one more guy to meet, and then the common route should eventually close, and then we get to the main story. Like, main juicy story of picking a route. And I'm gonna go for William first. But you guys should tell me who you would go after once you meet this last guy. Unless you already know all the characters, but... Anyway, thank you guys for watching today's episode. Stay beautiful, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
조금 어렵겠지만 언제라도 난 여기 서 있어 편하게 생각해도 돼